Satellites are watching us more than ever. Here's what they see and why it matters. The satellite industry is booming like never before. As of 2025, there are nearly 10,000 active satellites orbiting Earth, a massive increase from just a few thousand a decade ago. This surge is driven by advances in technology, falling launch costs, and the rise of satellite constellations designed to provide global internet coverage, Earth observation, and communications. Market research shows that the global satellite data services market is valued at over $14 billion in 2025 and is projected to grow to more than $55 billion by 2034, expanding at a compound annual growth rate of over 16%. This growth is fueled by increasing demand for high-resolution satellite imagery, real-time data, and integration with artificial intelligence and cloud computing technologies. Countries like the United States, China, India, and members of the European Union are investing heavily in satellite infrastructure. Commercial players such as SpaceX, OneWeb, and Amazon's Project Kuiper are launching thousands of low Earth orbit satellites to provide broadband internet globally. This proliferation means satellites are no longer just tools for governments or scientific agencies. They're central to many aspects of modern life. One of the key drivers behind this expansion is the growing accessibility and affordability of satellite technology. With the rise of miniaturized satellites and CubeSats, smaller organizations and academic institutions can now enter the space sector without the need for massive budgets. These compact satellites are often launched in clusters, significantly lowering launch costs and increasing coverage. Moreover, advancements in machine learning and data analytics have made it easier than ever to process and interpret the vast amounts of data gathered from space. This has opened the door for new applications, from tracking illegal deforestation to monitoring global fishing activity in real time. Additionally, satellite data is playing a transformative role in smart city development and climate resilience planning. Urban planners are using satellite imagery to track population growth, heat island effects, and infrastructure expansion, helping cities adapt to the demands of a changing climate. Insurance companies are also leveraging this data to assess risk in flood-prone and wildfire-affected areas, enabling them to price premiums more accurately and respond faster when disasters strike. As connectivity improves and latency drops, the synergy between satellites, AI, and IoT will continue reshaping industries and everyday experiences around the globe. Satellites collect a staggering variety of data. Earth observation satellites monitor weather patterns, track environmental changes, and provide critical information for disaster management. Agricultural sectors use satellite data to optimize crop yields and manage resources efficiently. Defense and intelligence agencies rely on satellites for surveillance, reconnaissance, and national security. Commercial satellites track shipping routes, monitor oil and gas pipelines, and support logistics and transportation networks. Even everyday smartphone users benefit indirectly from satellite navigation systems like GPS, which depend on constellations of satellites orbiting overhead. But beyond these beneficial uses, satellites can also capture detailed images of urban areas, monitor traffic flows, and even detect activities in private properties. High-resolution imaging satellites can now resolve objects as small as a few centimeters across, meaning they can see cars, people, and even individual trees from space. Given the number and capabilities of satellites, it's fair to ask, are we being watched more than we realize? The answer is yes, and it's happening on a scale that's unprecedented in human history. Modern satellite constellations provide near-continuous coverage of the entire planet. Some companies operate fleets of dozens or hundreds of satellites that can image any location on Earth multiple times per day. This means that activities in cities, rural areas, and even remote locations can be monitored in near real time. Governments use this data for border security, tracking illegal fishing, monitoring deforestation, and even crowd control. Commercial companies analyze satellite imagery to assess property values, track construction projects, and monitor supply chains. Moreover, advances in artificial intelligence and machine learning allow automated analysis of satellite data, turning raw images into actionable insights. This means that surveillance is not just passive observation, it's active monitoring with the ability to detect patterns, identify changes, and predict events. When we talk about who's actually using satellite surveillance, the list is longer and more influential than you might think. First up are governments and military agencies. These groups rely on satellites not just for spying or defense, but also for tracking missiles, gathering battlefield intelligence, and monitoring everything from environmental changes to natural disasters. It's about both protection and preparation. In addition to these major users, the private sector and startups are rapidly becoming key players in the satellite surveillance ecosystem. Innovative companies are developing niche applications that address very specific problems, such as monitoring illegal mining activities, detecting deforestation in remote regions, or even tracking wildlife populations to prevent poaching. These new entrants often rely on cutting-edge technology like AI-powered image recognition and real-time data streaming, which allows them to extract meaningful insights quickly and efficiently. The democratization of satellite data has lowered barriers to entry, enabling smaller firms to compete alongside large corporations and government agencies. Another significant development is the use of satellite data in humanitarian and disaster response efforts. Organizations such as the United Nations and various NGOs utilize satellite imagery to coordinate relief after earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes. This information helps responders assess damage, locate survivors, and plan logistics under challenging conditions. Furthermore, advances in satellite technology now enable continuous monitoring of remote or conflict-affected areas where ground access is limited, ensuring that critical data reaches decision-makers swiftly. As satellite networks grow denser and technology improves, the scope of satellite surveillance continues to expand into almost every sector of society. Next, we have commercial enterprises. Big businesses in industries like agriculture, energy, logistics, insurance, and real estate are now heavily dependent on satellite data. Why? Because it helps them streamline operations, cut costs, and minimize risks. Think crop monitoring, route planning, and even damage assessment after a storm. Then there are scientific and environmental organizations. Satellites give researchers a bird's-eye view of our planet, helping them track climate change, ocean patterns, air quality, and even animal migration. Without this data, much of what we know about Earth's changing systems would be guesswork. And finally, don't overlook the private sector and startups. These innovators are coming up with bold new uses for satellite tech, like spotting illegal mining operations or bringing internet service to isolated regions. In short, satellite surveillance has become a powerful tool across nearly every part of society. The motivations vary from security and profit to scientific discovery and environmental stewardship. However, the sheer volume of data collected means that much of our world is under constant observation, often without our direct knowledge. With so many eyes in the sky, privacy concerns naturally arise. Unlike CCTV cameras or drones, satellites operate in international airspace, and their data is often publicly available or sold commercially. This raises questions about consent, data ownership, and how images and information are used. Are your daily activities being tracked? Can satellites see into your backyard? While satellites cannot see inside buildings, high-resolution images can reveal a surprising amount of detail about property layouts, vehicles, and outdoor activities. The ethical debate centers on balancing the benefits of satellite data, such as disaster response and environmental monitoring, with the risks of surveillance overreach and misuse. There are also concerns about data security, as satellite data can be hacked or intercepted. As satellite technology advances, the sheer volume and quality of data collected grow exponentially. This means that individuals, businesses, and even entire communities could potentially be monitored without their knowledge. Unlike traditional surveillance methods that have clear physical boundaries, satellite surveillance blurs those lines, creating a complex environment where laws and regulations struggle to keep pace. Some countries have begun crafting legal frameworks to address these concerns, but international cooperation is limited, given that satellites orbit in global airspace. Meanwhile, companies that collect and sell satellite imagery often operate under minimal oversight, further complicating the landscape. Public awareness about satellite surveillance remains relatively low, which adds another layer to the ethical dilemma. Many people are unaware that satellite images and data about their properties, vehicles, or activities might be available for purchase or viewed online. This lack of transparency can erode trust in institutions that rely on satellite data, especially if misuse or breaches occur. As more satellites are launched, the potential for accidental data leaks or intentional misuse increases. Protecting individual privacy in this high-tech era will require not only technological solutions like encryption and anonymization, but also clear policies that balance innovation with respect for personal rights. The satellite industry shows no signs of slowing down. Analysts predict tens of thousands of new satellites will launch in the next decade, many forming mega-constellations for global internet coverage and advanced Earth observation. Artificial intelligence will play an even bigger role, enabling satellites to autonomously detect anomalies, monitor specific targets, and provide customized data feeds. This future raises both exciting possibilities and serious challenges. Enhanced satellite surveillance could improve public safety, environmental protection, and global connectivity. But it also demands stronger regulations, transparency, and safeguards to protect privacy and prevent abuse. While satellite data brings many benefits, it also challenges our notions of privacy and control. As citizens, it's important to stay informed, understand how this technology affects us, and advocate for responsible use. If you found this video insightful, feel free to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about satellite surveillance? Are you comfortable with this level of observation or concerned about privacy? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.